Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spiritually Speaking. I am Dee, and I have a beautiful guest today. I'm very excited to have a conversation with this guest today. This is Cindy. Cindy, welcome, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, Dee, thanks so much for asking us. It's so nice to be here. Peaceful. You have a very peaceful presence there. Thank you. We'll take it.
It's peace is the best, isn't it? I really enjoy it. It is not underrated. I had a
Yeah,
long
it is
period of
really
my life that
good.
was very chaotic, and now I have peace, and it's so wonderful. I actually said to Steve, who is my heart husband, the other morning, we were sitting having coffee and everything was just so quiet and peaceful. And I said, you know what I love? And he goes, what? I go, this. And he goes, what? I
Yeah,
said, just sitting here having coffee and it's
yeah,
peaceful and it's quiet. It's so wonderful. It's so
yeah. Me too.
wonderful.
I love that too. Yeah, there's nothing like it. I agree. It's high on my priority list. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So you want to tell our guests, our audience, our community, our listeners about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, I will. We are a collective consciousness that is referred to as Joseph. They chose that name for no reason, just so we'd have something to call them. And we are exempling, who knew at the time when I started 20 some years ago, that we are exempling and we teach the evolution of the human aspect. So, how we, what is referred to as channeling now, how we relay information is through me. I am totally present. The process of my channeling, I don't like that word. I got to tell you, I just don't like it because everybody expects it to be a certain way. And
Yeah.
it's just not because we're unique. And a lot of people, a lot of my clients, a lot of people I hear in the comments on interviews, I'm doing the same thing. I'm so glad that she brought that up because I thought I was doing it wrong. And it is unique to everybody. And we are all so connected. Anyway, so we are exempling the blended vibration of the soul and the human, of me and of me as my collective, who is Joseph. So that means that my physical vibration is dominant in my soul, and which is what we are teaching, because that is the shift in consciousness that the human collective is on the precipice of experiencing. We're shifting from being dominantly creating in the contrasting realm of what is referred to as the third dimension to the dimension, the fifth dimension, numbers, just labels, that is the vibration of our soul, which is no contrast at all. So we are in the process of making conscious choices to make our physical vibration dominant in the soul. So we are creating from love instead of creating from the contrast. So
Mm.
we example that. So that's what my channel is. And that's what every channel is. But I am a conscious blended channel. Put another label on there, a blended channel, which is exempling a dominant soul. So I'm probably about 95% now speaking from my soul vibration, but I'm still here. But it is a funnel of information from the collective soul of me, of Joseph, who is the expanded version. They speak to us from the vibration of the new earth. They are teaching a shift in perspective because we are the perspective of the contrast of the third dimension is a vibrational perspective that is out of alignment with our soul vibration of love. So we are in this shift in consciousness, shifting perspective, so we can move to the next experience of us as this physical aspect into the fourth and then fifth. That's in it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's so amazing. It's so interesting when I was meditating earlier, just because I thought, I really probably need to meditate a little bit before this before this interview. And I love meditating anyway, but so I did just for a little while, and I had this thought, what if our because we think of ourselves as so separate. right? And I've just been on this journey in the last year of making friends with my physical self because I
Good.
had a hard time with it. I didn't feel like my physical body was um and I need to clarify for those listeners out there that think it's about the way my physical body looks. No, it's just the
Yes.
having of a physical body, period.
Right.
I wasn't feeling
Right.
like it was a spiritual aspect of myself, that it was just cumbersome, I guess is a good word. Like I was just dragging me down and slowing me down. And I wanted to do all these fun things out here and still do. I love that. And,
Yeah.
but I had this thought during my meditation. I thought, what if we could just be friends? Like our soul and our body could be like that best friend that just is like, let's go to this, let's go, jump off the pier and it's 28 degrees outside or whatever. Let's just see how this feels. And they're like dragging you off the pier and just to see how it feels. And what if we could look at our soul and our body in that way, where we're just kind of friends and we're
Love.
experiencing those things through our physical body, but having our soul is kind of the fun friend that says, let's go do this, our body is the one who
Yeah.
actually feels it in the way that we're used to feeling things. So
In the physical world. Yeah, that's why you have a body, so you can experience the physical world. We have to be in alignment with the vibration, the creative vibration of the realm we're experiencing at any time. So when we move into another realm, we will have a different physical makeup that will be a manifestation of that vibration. But that's a wonderful, we really love that analogy of that. In fact, the fourth book, I think, is called um, the relationship, something like this, the relationship between the soul aspect and the human aspect, a love story.
oh, nice.
So it is. And Joseph just a few months ago said, we want you to um, begin including us more in your day-to-day life, not only when you're in session or when you're talking about this stuff on an interview, whatever. We want you to focus on us all the time, which is what brings the blending. You know, that's what, when you're dominantly focused on a vibration, you are creating from that vibration. And so when you shift your focus from the contrast to your soul, you're creating from love. And so therefore, the manifestations of what you're focusing on are of love and peace and joy and what you're experiencing with your heart husband. Love that too. That's so cute. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's the reason for the shift, because we're moving into a space of oneness.
Mhm.
So your recognition of that, why don't we be friends? Well, the next step of that is now we are blended. When you
Mhm.
begin to realize that you are an aspect of you are the physical aspect, the physical manifestation of your non-physical soul in this realm of consciousness, you begin to understand the abilities that you have, and then you begin to move forward quickly. But we can't take any fear with us.
Right.
So the fourth dimension's our bridge to get over there. We're kind of testing the waters a little bit. And we have to be led by our soul because it's not an experience that we have ever known before, not as this aspect. So it's a wonderful journey forward. Yeah. So that's a wonderful, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun. I enjoyed the visuals because I visualize things very easily too. So, and
Yeah.
I was told by a gentleman that I've spoken to, I feel like he's kind of a spiritual mentor to me, and he's told me it's the great thing is that you visualize very easily, and the
It's
difficult thing
wonderful.
is that you visualize very easily. So got to be mindful of what
Yeah.
visualizations you're putting in there so that you're bringing forward those good things and not the things that you would like to leave behind you.
Yeah,
So how do
absolutely.
we
And
bridge
that's the
the gap of
focus
fear?
by focus. The first thing, we get this question a lot too. How do we move past the fear?
Mhm.
Now, understanding really from our perspective anyway, what fear is, which is really what we refer to as the umbrella that houses, and of course there are unlimited vibrations everywhere.
Yes.
But the fear is really the contrast. We call it fear because that's a human label,
Mhm.
but it's a vibration that is contrasting to who we really are, which is why it manifests things we don't like. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't manifest things that we prefer. There's struggle, there's effort, there's loneliness and sadness and all those things that can only manifest from an out of alignment vibration. So the first thing we recommend is to relabel your label of fear. We have relabeled love and fear to in and out of alignment, because you're always in alignment with something. You're either in alignment and you're creating moment by moment. So you're either in alignment and creating from, by way of your focus, the contrast or your soul, the out of alignment or the in alignment. And there is no vibrational agreement between those two realms. So you are either creating something you don't want or something that's in alignment with your soul that you absolutely want to
Right.
experience, which is love in unlimited ways. So you begin to shift your perspective about what fear is. And fear is an out of alignment choice that's in front of us in every moment. We choose, and most of us are choosing it. And that is how our vibration, our physical vibration becomes dominant, is by way of our focus.
Mm.
And so this shift in consciousness is a conscious shifting to the in alignment position, which we don't know anything about. We're addicted to fear. We're
It's
addicted to it.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you called it a choice because we hear about happiness being a choice. People say that often, but I've
Yeah.
never heard anyone say that fear is a choice. Although I can see very clearly now that it's come out of your mouth that it is very
It's a
true.
choice of vibration.
Yeah.
Every choice we make is a choice of vibration. And people go, you talk about vibration too much, but it's at the foundation of everything,
Yeah.
because every vibration manifests.
Hmm.
When you have vibrational agreement, it manifests in your physical experience. So if you want to change your physical experience, you can do everything under the sun. But if you don't change your focus and shift the vibration you're creating your experience from, you're not going to experience something different. So it behooves everybody to understand vibration, and that we are energy and we are a vibration. And the laws that we are subject to are universal, and they're never off. There's no judgment. The laws deliver what you're asking for. You're the creator.
Yeah.
And you can't experience a vibration you're not a match to. So the choice is in front of you in every moment. And of course, fear, if you take the word fear out of it, and you say, you can do something ridiculous like say, I'm going to choose to get into a really toxic relationship, or I'm going to choose to get into a loving, beautiful, exciting, passionate relationship. Those are the choices,
Right.
because out of alignment, that's why relationships don't last. That's a whole nother issue. But why people have so much turmoil in their relationships, because they don't know who they are.
Yes.
They are out of alignment. And when you are out of alignment, you are choosing from the out of alignment pool you got going over there, you know,
Mm.
and you're choosing someone who is also out of alignment, which only can create out of alignment experiences.
Yes, and some very crazy ones too. I was there and I know exactly what you're
Yes.
talking about, and I feel that in my soul. And I didn't realize, and I think that so many people
Me
don't realize that they're so out of alignment because I truly didn't.
too. Yeah.
And it took me
Me too.
a
Me
lot of
too. Yeah.
time and effort to get myself to a place where I started loving myself enough to go, I'm going
Yes.
to create something different now because this is
Yes.
not how I'm going to live the rest of my life, you know?
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely, yeah, me too. I was there. Every relationship I had up until my last one, which ended, uh, I don't know. Wow, it's been that long already? 8 years ago.
Wow.
Because I knew I could look back and I can see now. And I loved all these guys. I mean, they were great, but well, they were out of alignment. I was out of alignment. And so I had a lot of fun. I loved a lot, which is what I'll take with me. That was the expansive part of those relationships. But they never went anywhere. They always ended. They always ended in not such a good way, not horrible, but not in a loving way. We didn't say, oh, we're going on different paths. I love you. See you next time you
Right.
know it wasn't anything like that, right? So The in alignment relationship is a relationship between two people. Could be a boss, could be a sibling, doesn't matter. When you are in alignment, you are attracting other people who are in alignment, you know, and then the relationship changes, and it is a mutual respect for, and it's a oneness, it's support. There's no control. There's no, what are you going to do to make me see that you love me kind of stuff. That's not what love is, you know.
No, it
That's
isn't.
what's defined as love at a certain level, you know, but that's not self-love. But you're right. When you, what I have found too, that you must love yourself. And that's so overused, but there's really, we would say you must understand alignment, because that's the space of self-love, really, because that's the oneness of love, the love of your soul. And it's so underrated, the term self-love. We all use it because there's really no other words, you know. You must love yourself. People don't know what that means. I
I
didn't. I
didn't.
certainly didn't. Yeah,
I
nobody,
thought I
it's,
did, but I
what do
truly
you
didn't.
know, I thought I did too. Yeah, didn't, really didn't. But what I discovered through the help of Joseph, thank God for them. Yeah, you're welcome. Um, was that this, when you are experiencing the space of alignment, you are experiencing that vibration of love, which is overwhelming, brings
Mm,
me to tears a lot of
yes.
overwhelming joy. Yeah. And then you just don't accept anything else. And it's not because you're judging. You're just saying, this is what I prefer now. You
Right.
know, I want peace and joy and excitement. Yeah. I don't want to fight
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just, it's not going to be, there's not going to be any of that. It's just totally unacceptable. I just
Yeah.
don't.
You don't vibrate there anymore. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not in
Yeah.
alignment with that anymore. Right. So
Exactly.
I know there
Exactly
are
right.
many
Yeah.
people thinking this right now. So how would you recommend for people to change their vibration to a different frequency so that they can bring in these things that they so desire?
Yeah. Yeah. It is, you know, it's all the journey. That's why we're here, is to expand this aspect of us. And that expansion is the awareness of who you really are, which is where that vibration is.
Yeah.
It's the soul of us. And so it's the understanding of who you are as an aspect of the soul. You know, this shift in consciousness that's happening is, I always say it's huge. Joseph always says, it's a choice, Cindy. It's a choice. It is a choice.
It is
It's
a choice.
understanding choice. It's understanding that you are the creator of your reality,
Mhm.
because you're creating it vibrationally by way of your focus. So you really have to step back. It's a big shift. There's, from the third dimensional perspective, it seems like there's a lot going on, but it boils down to a choice. And you have to understand what you're choosing first. And so to understand that you're choosing a vibration, because your physical reality is very unique to you because of your vibration is very unique. So the experience that you are creating in the physical realm is, of course, vibrational. I know some kids said on one of the comments, do the beer shot, take a shot every time she says vibration. And I started cracking up. That was hilarious. You know, we'd all be plastered. But so once you, the perspective of the soul, excuse me, the perspective of the soul, of course, is vibrational. The new earth experience we're moving into is vibrational. It's not physical
Mhm,
anymore. It's dominant vibrationally, which is why we push it. So you have to understand vibration.
mhm,
So in order to shift your current experience from the contrast, from the, which has been dominant, and the momentum is fast. We have been choosing dominantly from the contrast ever since we stepped foot into the third dimension eons ago. And you know, we come back, we leave, we come back, and we're evolving through all of these contrasting timelines. And now we're standing at a new precipice where it is a conscious choosing. And that comes from understanding what you're choosing, and that you could choose. It's your choice, whether you make it on purpose or by default. It's your choice, because it's all vibrational. When you are focused on the contrast, focused on the horrible stuff that's going on in this world right now, and you get focused on that, you begin to manifest the emotions that come from
mhm.
that choice of contrast: anger, fear, reject, I mean, everything that's not love manifests from that vibration. And so if you're experiencing a relationship that's toxic or a job that you can't stand, you just don't like being, I mean, you are dominantly creating your physical experience in the contrast. Everybody's doing it. You have to choose your way out. And that is by not unlearning anything, not changing those beliefs, because you can't create an in alignment belief from an out of alignment position.
That's
There
true.
must be vibrational agreement in order to get manifestation, to create a manifestation, an experience. There must be vibrational agreement, which is how you're creating the contrasting stuff that we don't like. So you have to understand your choices, and every moment you have a choice to shift this. And the momentum in the third dimension of contrast is so powerful. People say to us all the time, it's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard. From the third dimensional, it is, because there's so much momentum and we haven't done it before. We haven't chosen, generally speaking, we haven't been choosing to create from love. A
Mm.
lot of people talk about it,
Yeah.
and you have to choose it. And that's where the change occurs.
Yeah.
When you are creating experiences that you don't like, to put it bluntly, out of alignment experiences that are just bad from the beginning, the emotions are bad. And then you just are creating a pathway to another experience and another experience. And it just gets overwhelming because you're standing in the space that is attracting those out of alignment matches to what you're asking for by way of your focus. So in each moment, you make a conscious decision to choose love. Surround yourself with things you love. Seek joy. Seek out joy.
Yeah.
Do things that can trigger loving experiences that you've had. We've all had loving experiences. And, whether it lasted for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, or 50 years, it doesn't matter, because it's a vibration that you're focused on. And when you are focusing on love, there is no more powerful creative force than love, because you affect everybody. The entire Godhead expands, the collective soul. You expand, I expand, we all expand. Everybody gets expansion. So
Yeah.
when you're focusing, that you're creating from there too, and that's how you do it. It's a choice. It's a conscious choice to understand who you are as a vibrational being, and learning about the universal truths. We call them the truths. That are all vibrationally based. They're all vibrationally based. Vibrational agreement is what sometimes we refer to as the only truth of the universe, because no manifestation can take place without vibrational agreement.
Hmm.
So that's what our perspective on the movement forward is that the human collective is choosing its way out of the third dimension of contrast. And then as you do that, you step into the fourth. When your dominant creative vibration is the soul, you have stepped into another realm of consciousness that is no longer in alignment with the third dimension, because now the one thing that everybody needs to remember is the dominant vibration always rules, right?
Hmm.
So when you
Yes.
get to be dominant in your soul, you're no longer a match to the third dimension. Now you're a match to the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is the place where we get our feet wet and we kind of, discover more of who we are. And we go from 51-49 in the soul to 60-40 soul, creative force, dominant, and then 70% dominant in the soul, creative ability. And then, at 95%, we're standing on the precipice of the fourth and fifth dimension, the new earth, as we are now from the third and fourth. We just know more then, you know? So
Yeah.
that's how we do it. That's how
Yeah.
we do
It
it.
it really is about love and choosing, because I just made a post on my Facebook not too long ago because I was listening to a podcast of someone I really admire, actually. And she started talking about these things that were happening in other places, and there was just this anger and this frustration and this, and she even used the word hate, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been wanting to make
Mhm.
this post for a while, and I stopped the podcast video I was listening to and went straight on my Facebook and made this post. Let's send love and light. No, we
Yes,
don't like those situations. Yes, we would love for them to be different than they are. So let's send love and light, because if we're sending that anger and hate, we're feeding that. We're feeding it.
absolutely.
And if we're sending love and
Absolutely.
light, then we're diffusing it. We're just taking away from it and giving it this totally different energy that's not going to allow it to keep growing.
That's
So
right.
I am
When,
in complete agreement with you on that. I think that's wonderful.
yeah. When the human collective is dominant in the soul, can you imagine? Can you imagine if Joseph actually said to me one time, we were talking about all this stuff about the movement forward, and they said, if everyone on the planet at this time, for 60 seconds at the same time, were focused on alignment, you would all experience the new earth in its vibrational form uniquely. Isn't that the coolest thought?
I have
At the
goosebumps
same time, and the
everywhere.
love, yeah, the love would be the creative force. We are creating our experience of this. The new aspect of us, that is in alignment with the new earth, is sitting over there waiting for us, to
Yeah,
get over there. We will be physical, but not this physical, because we'll be a manifestation of that vibration. So that the next aspect of us, the soul is the expanded aspect of us, but this next physical aspect of us, which will be a different physicality, different manifestation of a different vibration, of course, vibrational agreement, is waiting for us, and we will be creating from love. Can you imagine what that experience is going to be like?
that's going to be so amazing. Oh my gosh,
It's
because it
amazing.
feels so
You can
good
feel it now,
now,
right? Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So you
And that's how we create that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the different physicality that would be a manifestation of that kind of vibration.
Yeah.
And I love that you say vibration. It's actually one of the things that attracted me to your
Thank you.
your podcast interview with Alex, because you kept saying that, and I was like, oh my God, I love that. So what will that
Thank
physicality look like? What I mean,
don't
will
know.
we be more
We don't
ethereal,
know.
or you don't know?
Oh, of course. Now, I picture it as like translucent.
Mhm.
I had an experience where I went through a meditation, a guided meditation. It's a long story. Anyway, it was an amazing experience. I went into Telos, which is the fifth dimensional city inside Mount Shasta. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but look it up if you're not. Fascinating. It's a Lemurian community there, and it's in the fifth dimension. And what I saw was my interpretation. What I saw was um, not a light, certainly light bodies, but they had shapes and they had clothes, but the clothes were almost like, it's so hard to describe, almost see-through. So I see them as translucent. Now, that I'm going to put an asterisk on this, because that could have been, and of course it is, my unique interpretation of that,
Mhm.
my interpretation of it. So remember, in the New Earth experience, the New Earth vibration, there are no limits and there is only uniqueness. So
Yeah.
that's why they said when everybody would focus on alignment for 60 seconds, you would be experiencing the new earth for 59, and everyone would be experiencing it in its unique way, because our vibrations are so unique, all in alignment, but all unique. Every soul, unlimited souls all over the galaxies, the universes, however, whatever, unlimited vastness, all in alignment, but all unique. Something, the human aspect, that was really hard for us to imagine the
Yeah.
bigness of that.
Yeah.
But
That would be,
it will be, yeah, I mean, it's going to be amazing, but so we don't know because we're creating it.
Mhm.
We're creating it in our own way, in our own unique way. So the limiting aspects of this human are not there. There's no limit there. Everything is possible. So if I say, well, I want to be, and this would be really cool. I want to look like, I want to look like Sophia Loren when she was 22,
Yeah,
I want to be her, because if that's the interpretation that I want, I can be that,
right.
but it's vibrational. So, and it's difficult for us to understand that, to create without limits,
It is.
without resistance, without limit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
it
more we
is.
focus on our own alignment and walk on our soul's path, the more we allow the awareness of more to come in, so we get comfortable with it. That's the fourth dimension bridge, expansion, expansion. Then we step in and we go, what? We're here. We're
So
here.
do you feel like things are accelerating at this point? Because I feel that I have used
Yeah.
the word exponentially quite a few
Yeah.
times with
Me
when
too.
I'm talking to my friends about my own personal growth and
Yeah.
um, everything. So do you feel like that we are in an accelerated
Absolutely.
period of time?
Yeah. Yeah. The light is moving us forward. There are so many people who are focusing now and seeking and listening to shows like yours and Alex, and they're coming out of the woodwork. Well, there's a reason for that, because the teachers are standing up, and everybody with the purpose of moving humanity forward.
Yes.
It's time for that. The opportunity is there. So the more people that are focusing on their own alignment, however they do it, by listening to you, by reading a spiritual book or whatever that's resonating. Every time you or I or anybody resonates with something, that is indication of alignment for them. And remember, Abraham, one in alignment is more powerful than a million who aren't. So now we've got millions of people standing up, focusing on alignment all at different times, So all this light is coming in, and the light is creating a momentum forward. So yes, absolutely moving faster. Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, faster is a third dimensional word. Yeah.
Right.
For faster, but it's momentum. We're feeling the momentum forward is what it really is. And
Yeah,
it's manifesting itself like everything does,
it
you
is.
know?
It's so exciting to me, and I would like to push the fast forward even a little bit more because I'm so I'm so ready for it just to be, peace, and not all of this.
But, well, yes. However, we get the question all the time. How do you expect me, Cindy, to stay in alignment when all this stuff's going on out there? I can't turn on the TV without seeing. I said, so don't turn on the TV. You have to make conscious choices to be peaceful,
Yes,
because the conscious choice you're making is the choice of alignment,
yes,
because that's where peace is, you know,
yes. It's so
that's where
true.
peace is.
And
Yeah.
I've had,
You can't, go ahead.
I've
Sorry.
had people say to me, that they don't like social media because of all of the crazy stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's a thing. It's a thing. You make it into what you want it to be. I don't have chaos and
No, me
ridiculousness
either.
on my
Right.
social media because I don't put up with it. If I see it show up, I get rid of it right away before it has a
Right.
chance to grow because I'm just
Yeah.
not doing that. So you can create even social media
Oh, absolutely.
places that are peaceful and enjoyable to be in. So
Yes. Oh,
but like you said, it's a choice.
it's a choice, and it's a vibration.
Mhm.
It's a vibration. I see we're only on Instagram. I'm not a big fan of social media. A lot for that reason, a lot of reasons. But so we're there, and I go there to post our quotes and to introduce Joseph to whoever wants to be introduced to them, and to share our message. That's my intention. So I don't, we got approached, which is one thing I don't like about social media. We got approached a lot about buy these followers, buy these followers. And I said, that's not authentic for me. That's not,
No,
I don't want, I, I want people to read the message who want to read the message. I want people to come because they want to be there, you know, and that's a whole other story. But so we have created our channel authentically for that purpose, because
Yes.
the only people that are coming there are the people that are of that vibration, that want to know more.
Right.
So that's our perspective on that. Of course, you can create anything you want, but I see once in a while, on YouTube or something, I see the chaos, and it's almost like I've turned it into a door. I just close the door,
Yes.
and it calms down. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost like if you saw, I always use this analogy, the movie Poltergeist. Did you ever see that movie?
I've never really been a fan of spirit movies. The only kind of movies that would make me
Well,
have
this is
nightmares.
before I got involved in this stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's from the 80s, I think. I'm really dating myself, from the 80s, I think. I don't know. Anyway, this possessed little girl. There was a scene in there where this demon thing, which cracks me up actually to think about it, has taken over this little girl, right? And she's in the TV now. And so they've closed off her bedroom. So they take this medium upstairs to see if she can clear out this space. They open the door, it flies open, and there's just chaos flying in the room, toys flying around, and clowns with horrible faces. And it's a horrible, chaotic experience. And the noise, and he slams the door shut, and it's peaceful. That's what I do with social media.
Yeah.
I see the clamoring, and the yelling and the screaming, and I just close the door and I
Yeah.
get peace. You shift your perspective, you shift your focus to where peace is. In order
Yes.
to experience it, you have to be in alignment with it, right?
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
really does work. I know there are
Of
people
course
out
it does.
there thinking, oh, that just sounds cheesy. And maybe it does, but it works. It truly does
Of
work.
course it does. I have a friend who, we were just talking about this morning. She was so mad. I was too, and I always get mad when I'm with her because she brings it all up. And she's so mad about what's going on. And she was just, I can't, I mean, she raising her voice, yelling at the phone. And I said, turn it off. Just turn it off. Well, I have to keep up with what's going on. I said, why? Well, because I don't want to be out of the loop. Why? How is that serving you? Can
Right.
you do something about this? Well, no. So it's only creating your participation and expansion of that contrasting vibration.
Yes.
And now you are emitting the more of the contrast, and you are creating your experience and your physical reality of that contrast. How's that feel? Make
Hmm.
a choice.
Right.
You make a choice. Joseph said early on, of this latest mess, they said, and I went into fear, only because, well, questioning. I was really questioning. Oh, what's happening now? Why, when the whole P word started, I said, wait a minute, I'm not going to participate in that. So now what do I do? How do I find groceries? How do I do this? I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to do that. Staying out of that whole mess. And they said, the way will be shown. So, and it is. So this is how you allow your soul to guide you, because for every problem that you see, you cannot find the answer in the contrast. You only get more contrast. You
Right.
have to shift your focus and perspective to alignment, and allow
Yeah.
your soul to show you the way out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not a scary thing. I don't feel like
No.
I've stepped into that so much and I love it. And like you were talking about the podcasts and things like that, or your Instagram following, created this podcast for the exact reason that you're saying, because the things you're talking about right now, I want to spread that like wildfire across this world and
Yeah.
beyond, because I feel like it's such an important message for people to know, and that it's not difficult. There's a few words I wish we could erase or at least extremely limit, and that's hard and broken. Those are two of the words I really have
Yes.
developed I don't have a distaste for them. I just feel like
An
they're,
aversion to, yeah.
yeah, because we use them all the time. And it's just because something requires your attention doesn't mean it's hard. And if we keep telling
Right.
ourselves how hard everything is, then are we really going to do any of it? We're not, because we're like, well, that's hard. I already know it's hard because everybody's saying it's hard. And again, it's a
Right.
choice to
That's
look at it in a different way. So, and it's a
Yeah. As
delicious
well,
result. That's my take on it. Like the results of
love
shifting
that
that.
word.
is so
Yeah.
it's so delicious. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love that word. That's so good, delicious. It's so good. But that's exactly right. I stop people all the time, um, and say, don't declare that it's hard. That's an out of alignment label
Hmm.
that you are now creating an experience of. Because if you say this is hard, then that's your first paver on that pathway to that hard experience. You know, Joseph said, I was complaining about it once too. And I was saying, geez, this is really hard, you know. And they said, from the third dimensional perspective, it is hard because everything is hard from the third dimensional perspective because your perspective is out of alignment.
Yes.
So we want to tell you, we want to tell everybody who's listening to you. And when I got this, it was kind of a profound shift for me. I went, wait a minute, you're right. You're right. They said, excuse me, they said, you have unlimited choice, Cindy. You are choosing every experience. So that means that you can also choose how you want to experience your own evolution, your own expansion. And if you want to lay on the couch all day and eat bonbons and watch Breaking Bad and you're having fun, then do that. They said when you the process of shifting is focusing on alignment, which is joy,
Hmm.
and creating a space for yourself to expand your own awareness to be dominant in the collective you, in your soul. Whatever it takes, you get to choose it. If somebody
Yeah.
says you must do it this way, it's not your teacher.
Right. Right.
And we all have teachers that we resonate with, and that's a, you know, that's the purpose of everything, is the resonation with your soul's alignment.
That's
And
very
so don't say it's hard. Say, in fact, this is really easy. All I have to do is choose it. Say
yes.
that. If you have to say
Love that.
something, just say that,
Yes.
you know, and create a new belief. We're not changing old beliefs. The old beliefs are out of alignment. We are creating a new belief system that is in alignment with where we're going. So we can begin to create the pathway to that, which is the momentum that gets us there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good.
Powerful.
It is.
So powerful. Yeah.
I love
It's a
that
powerful understanding.
you said that about sitting down and watching TV because the other day I took a break and I had a busy day and I took a break to watch, I don't even remember what I was watching, something on TV, a movie that I had picked out. Steve's working out of town right now, so it was a girl movie, you know?
Oh,
So I was
nice. Yeah,
enjoying
yeah,
it. I was just sitting there watching it. But then you know how we do. I start thinking about all of these things I needed to do, and I could be doing that and should be doing this. And Wayne Dyer would say you're
yeah.
shitting all over yourself. But
That's right. That's right.
my dad, my parents have crossed over, and my dad came to me and he said, "Will you just relax, baby girl?" He's like, "Are you
Yes.
do you really have to get up and do that right now? It's going to
Yes.
be there." He said, just sit
Right.
back and relax and enjoy. Just
Yes.
enjoy."
Yes.
And I allowed
Yes.
myself to do that. It was so good, but it took my dad popping in because I found myself even just like kind of sitting, you know what I mean? Like your body tenses up and
Yeah.
you're
You
like,
feel
"Oh, I need to
guilty.
get up." And then it's like, just relax. And
Yeah.
I allowed myself to relax back into my seat and finish watching the movie. And it was amazing. It was so good. I needed it.
Yeah. It's so important because we have all these third dimensional constructs. You know, you have to do this, you have to do it this way, and you have to do it with that person, and you have to make this much money, and you have to be running around like crazy for 12 or 14 hours a day, and then you sit down at 70 and die. That's
Yeah.
not what we came here to do, you know.
No.
The third dimensional action, 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 everybody, action, action, action. You know, our perspective and the fifth dimensional perspective is focus, focus, focus. So when you're watching that movie, enjoying it and laughing, hopefully laughing or even crying out of love, you know, you are um, emitting the vibration of your soul. You're in alignment. That's the only thing that's really important because then you're creating from the space of love. While you're sitting there, you're creating from it because you're affecting and expanding everything. You, your soul, the universe, everybody. Me, thank you. Yeah. So that's part of the shift in perspective, you know, that to just, you know, just be, you know, Ram Dass, be here now, just be and just focus on love. Yeah. because you're
Yeah.
already creating. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. So
it's
you
so
start to feel,
good.
you start to feel guilty doing that. And then you say, wait a minute, guilt is an out of alignment emotion. So that means I'm focusing on the out of alignment position and I choose something else.
Right.
So
And we
that's how you do it.
need to
You
keep reminding
recognize it in the,
ourselves of that to just keep
yes.
refocusing that attention on the in alignment version of everything. I love that so much. So, so
Well,
much.
you're creating momentum, when you're doing that. We have to create momentum in the other direction. We get out of that mess over there and we create momentum in the other direction. So as you begin to do that, it can feel a little overwhelming because then you realize how out of alignment you are
Yeah.
and what you've been creating. Whoa, wait a minute. But what happens is the more you do it, it becomes the dominant momentum. And then you
Mhm.
don't really think about it. You just do it because now you're naturally attracting what you are choosing habitually, and it becomes your norm. It becomes your norm just
Yeah,
by choosing.
it does.
Beautiful.
So I just had a beautiful conversation with a cohort. Her name is Jill, and we were talking about I call them universal beings. Do you feel like there is like they are a big piece of this shift, or do you feel like that doesn't have anything to do with it?
Who are you talking about? What when you say
Universal beings,
universal?
extraterrestrials.
Oh, you mean other aspects of us?
Mhm.
That's what yeah, there are unlimited aspects of us. But we're arrogant. We think that we're the only ones. But yeah, there are unlimited, and yes, there are many aspects who are supporting supporting the shift. They're
Mhm.
always in support. The universal vibration always supports itself. So when one of its aspects is asking for help, and we do that by focusing on alignment, we're saying we want to move forward, shine the light here, shine the light so I can see where I'm going. They know who they are, so they know who we are. So yes, there's a lot of support. The universe is always in support of itself, which is another aspect of this question is when you are in alignment, the universe is always supporting you. People
Yeah.
say to, and I wanted to point this out because I've been getting this question a lot. People are saying, I don't want to work in the 3D world anymore. I want to do something spiritual, and this is what I want to do. And their whole face lights up.
Yeah.
And I say, what's stopping you? Well, the money. It's the money. The money. I can't do without the money. But they have this belief in lack. And so the universe is always supporting itself. If you are creating a business, we don't really care for that word much anymore in the fifth dimension, but if you are creating something, bringing something in from the fifth dimension, your purposed business, lack of, and it is in alignment, it must be manifest that way. And that's where all the abundance is of
Yeah.
everything, of the help, the money, the place, whatever it is, the client, it doesn't matter. If it is in support of evolution, in alignment, it is always supported. So as the universe shifts, and we have been through many, many, many shifts in consciousness, the universe supports it by shining the light and showing the way. So Joseph is my guide, my soul. You have guides, you have soul. We have loved ones who have crossed over who are guides for us. The angels are guiding. It's the alignment that puts you in communication, because you can't experience your guides that are in another dimension if you're not in alignment with them. When we recognize our own multidimensionality, then we can branch out and talk to anybody. Then we see anybody. Then we're universal beings ourselves. And when we
And
shine the light, we're supporting it too.
yeah. And
So
so
yes,
that's just a shift in vibration, a shift in focus, also bringing ourselves to where we
yes,
can have that communication
yes,
more.
yeah, yeah. Like I can't, when I was going out of alignment a lot, kicking and screaming with this whole thing, I would ultimately come out of it. And I'd say to Joseph, what's going on? This is like awful. And they would say, you're out of alignment. And you just shift back in. And I go, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You cannot experience another dimension if you're not in alignment with it. But you can go to the new earth vibration now through meditation or through focus. You go there through your focus. My trip into Telos was another dimension. A lot of people have trouble with that, except those who have visited there. It's another dimension. And I do that through focus. You can experience anything, and when I think you're probably familiar with Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me. Probably. I don't know,
I've
maybe you're
heard
not.
of it. I
Anita
haven't, I'm not
Moorjani.
super familiar with it.
She Well, the book is fabulous, and she had a near-death experience. Wayne Dyer took her under his wing and just introduced her to the world, and she travels around telling her story. And she talks about when she was in that vibration, out of her body, in with her soul, in the universe, in love. And all she did, because there's no resistance there, all she did was focus, and she was there. Focus and experience, focus and experience. And this is what happens. And she's walking around the world telling people, you have this ability. And it comes from being in alignment, comes from being in alignment with a desire. If you have a desire to connect to your guides, focus, ask, and they will help you. But you can't see the help or experience the help if you're out of alignment with it. You see,
Right.
with the desire, you can't manifest it. So yeah, you have to be in alignment with wherever you want to go.
Yeah. It sounds so easy.
It's a choice,
Yeah, it's just a choice. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to go to wherever, That's so
but
cool.
it's a
And
belief too.
I do have a
It's a
lot
belief.
of times where I've traveled to places, but more in meditation or like most recently in a Reiki session with my friend. I actually was on a spacecraft with this. I had this, and I didn't tell this story with my in my interview with Jill, but I'll tell you now. Um, I went onto this spacecraft and I was laying on this table, and there was this lady UV there. Um, and she was beautiful, and she was gold. Her whole body was gold, like not a shiny gold, not like a chrome kind of gold, but like a shimmery kind of gold. And she walked
Wow.
away from me and she had her back to me and she turned back and was looking over her shoulder at me, and she just kind of had this little smile on her face and she just kept looking at me. And then a little bit later, she came above my head, stood above my head, and leaned over me and put her forehead against my forehead. And she said, "You're one of us again." And then
Wow.
a little bit later, she came and stood above my head again, and she leaned over me and she kissed me on the mouth. And she said, "I love you, my daughter."
Oh my God.
It was
How
it was
amazing is that?
beautiful. And
I've
it
got
was,
goosebumps all over.
yeah, it was so, so beautiful. I mean, just the whole experience. I mean, just seeing her face, because she definitely was not of this world. You could tell by the way, but I knew
Right.
that's where I was. And what was interesting
Right.
about that is my friend Vicky, I'm going to say her name this time. My friend Vicky and I were talking after the Reiki session, and she said, and I saw that towards the end of the session, but she said at the beginning of the session, she saw a spaceship coming in.
Wow.
And then when I told her I was on
Wow.
a spaceship, she was like, "You've got to be kidding me. At the beginning, I saw a spaceship coming in, and then you ended up
Wow.
on one. How crazy is that?"
It's wild. You see, unlimited possibilities, unlimited. And it's so, it's the belief. And so you have this experience, you have a lot of experiences with all this stuff, but you have this experience, and now it opens your awareness up even more of
Yeah,
more opportunities to experience more of that, more aspects of you. She was an aspect of you, you know, but the belief has to come with it. So many people don't believe any of it, and that's fine. You don't have to, but you
right.
missed out on the experience.
Yeah,
Eventually everybody will expand into it, but
yeah,
um, when the multidimensionality, and that's what happens when you shift to alignment, which is why we keep pushing it. There's so much to be had there experientially, as who you are as the soul. This is so exciting. It's so exciting.
It really is.
And that's when you begin to realize how limited this aspect is in its third dimensional thinking. But its soul thinking is so vast. It's just beautiful.
It is
It's a beautiful
beautiful.
experience. Yeah,
It's
it's
fascinating.
great.
And I've always been one that loved the fantasy, like the fairy
Yeah.
realm and all of that stuff. I've always loved that, and fantasy shows on TV and, movies and stuff like that that have magic and beauty. And I've just always loved that kind of stuff. So being able to experience some of that is just, it's incredible. Like in real
Well, we
life.
would venture to say, yeah, well, it is real life. It is another dimension of it, you
Yeah.
know. Who knew that the Twilight Zone had it so right? But that aspect of you, we would venture, what are we going to say? I lost my train of thought. Mm, lost it. It'll come back around. But those kinds of experiences only tell you that that belief that you now have in the knowing and the experience of it just is a fifth dimensional belief that says I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere,
Yeah.
you
So I'm going
know?
to go more places now.
And yes, absolutely. I mean, you can go anywhere you want, but the beliefs are so limiting in the third dimension, and it scares a lot of people because they don't understand it, that
Yeah.
it's only vibration.
Right.
It's a different realm of experience. So when you go to her realm of experience, which is normal for her,
Mhm.
you are in alignment with that realm of experience, and you go there vibrationally only because your body stayed here. Your body can't go there.
Right.
It's here. It's manifested in this dimension, right? But
And
you are able to focus and to create the experience of this other dimension, which is what the momentum you created took you there. It's
yeah,
beautiful,
it is
beautiful experience.
incredible.
Really
Well, I know we're coming up on the end of our hour together here. I'm so grateful that you came in. It was very fast, wasn't it?
so much fun. Yeah, it
Do
was really
you or
fast.
Joseph have anything you would like to share with our listeners as a parting piece of fabulousness before we go?
Oh, thank you. There was so much to be said and so much to be understood from the third dimensional perspective. So we would say to relax and to ask for guidance, to connect with your soul. It is not hard. It is the natural state of you, and it is available to you 24/7. It is the place where you want to experience your physical life before you leave it for good. When you master the third dimension, when only means that you are no longer a match to it vibrationally. And so we would say, carve your way out and choose it. Just choose
Yeah.
it. And it's the choosing of love. It's a choosing of the most powerful force of the universe. It's a creative powerhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what the shift in consciousness is. Shift in perspective about who you are. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And again, thank
Absolutely.
you for coming on the podcast and being my beautiful guest
So much
today. This
fun.
has been an awesome
Thank you.
conversation. I love every single bit of this. So
Oh, me
I,
too.
I
Me too. It was
appreciate
really fun.
you.
Thank you.
You're very
We
welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing too. So necessary now. Get it
Yeah.
out there. Platforms all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
that's why
Beautiful.
I'm doing it. I want everyone to get this message, and everyone's going to get what they need, exactly what they need from
Absolutely.
listening to each one of these.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
so thank you
Absolutely. It's
again.
beautiful.
Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Spiritually Speaking. I know you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I'll put Cindy's links down in this description box below the video. Thank you all so much. And as always, I love you all. I'll see you on the next one.